Welcome back, Cowboys Nation, to another episode of Doc Talk with my guy, Dr. Boothby of Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Institute. Say hello to the lovely viewers, Doc.
Hey guys, good to see everybody this morning. Great to be back on Doc Talk, and looking forward to answering some good questions today.
Doc Talk from Seattle.
That's it, in Seattle. I'm on the road today in Seattle, so I'm rooting that it warms up just a little bit more towards Texas temperatures. Right now, not so much, but hopefully by midday it should be improving.
Yeah. Cowboy fans don't have a lot of nice memories of Seattle, especially when it comes to quarterback play and quarterback
for sure.
injuries, and we don't like to think about Seattle and injuries up there. But
I hear it, man. I haven't been able to see a game up here, but I came in last night and saw the stadium, and yeah, I agree. Not the best memories.
Ended one era, started another one. But what we're hoping doesn't happen in Dallas is the injury of right tackle Terence Steele ends that era, which it sounds like will not happen. They put the second round tender on him, so he'll be back. And something that shocked me a little bit was that they said he's ahead of schedule and he'll be ready for training camp. Now, we've talked about ACLs a lot over the last year, Doc, in regards to Michael Gallup, and it took him much longer, it seems, to come back from his injury. And we had initially talked about this Terence Steele injury, and I was wondering if, because of the position he plays, would that make it a lot easier for him to come back? And it sounds like maybe that's the case. Is that something, as a sports medicine doctor, you look at, size, weight, and say, well, this guy could return much sooner because of the what he has to do on the field?
Yeah, I mean, I think you make a great point. It's definitely a factor. And I think this points to the fact that, ACL recovery, ACL surgery, and then the recovery process is a multifactorial thing. It's complicated. And I think nowadays, this is such a common injury, and we hear about it all the time, that people really have a tendency to say, okay, well, you have your ACL injury at this date, and you have your surgery on this date, and you're back on this date. And it's really just not that simple. We kind of have a range of time that we look at, and it's a minimum of 6 months, and usually it's closer to 8 or 9 months. And but I think your point is well taken. I think that the position that a player plays does put certain increase stress or decrease stress on their knee, and may make it more likely that they could get back in a quicker fashion or take a little bit longer. A skill player, a wide receiver who's planting that foot in the ground and making hard lateral cuts and twisting motions may take longer before they're functionally ready to come back than a lineman. So it just, again, it points to this being a complicated thing. We try and give a range of recovery, and it's great that he's ahead of schedule. Obviously, the markers that we use as the recovery process goes, we want to meet those or exceed those, but we'll just kind of have to wait and see just a little bit.
Another guy that the Joneses came out and talked highly about, was one linebacker, Leighton Vander Esch, who had a solid season coming off of another injury. But that's where I kind of want to focus at. He's a guy that signed his short contract, Doc, because I think of his injury concerns. And then he missed about 3 or 4 games due to, again, his neck. He's had chronic neck issues since 2016, pinched nerve, surgery. I know the neck isn't the collarbone, but it's in that area. It's just something constant all the time with the neck. Now, as a sports doctor, if you're a team comes to you and say, hey, what should we be looking for that will allow us to feel comfortable moving forward with this player with chronic neck issues? Is there something that you see and say, hey, this is something that you guys don't have to worry about, or hey, this is something that will pop up pretty much every year?
Yeah, great question. And again, wish we had a crystal ball there that we could
Yeah.
kind of peer into and look into the future. Leighton's injury is kind of an acute on chronic problem, and I think you did a nice job of laying it out. He's got, from the reports, some what's called congenital spinal stenosis. So he was born. All of us are born with a certain amount of space around our spinal cord in our neck, and sometimes that space is a little bit more, and sometimes that space is a little bit less. And stenosis is the term that we use when that space is a little bit tighter or more narrow. And although in a everyday life type of situation, if your space is a little bit more narrow, it doesn't make any difference. When you're obviously in a full contact environment such as football, sometimes that narrowing around the spinal cord can make it just more likely that there are going to be associated injuries such as disc disease or disc herniations that are just more symptomatic. So, if your neck, for instance, had a normal amount of space and you started to get a more mild disc herniation, it probably wouldn't affect you that much. You may not have any numbness tingling down your arm. You may not have really any symptoms. But in somebody who has a tighter neck, who has more stenosis, that more mild disc herniation may be symptomatic, and it may cause real problems. And in this case, is what required that surgery for him back in 2019. So, although, I think after that surgery, his symptoms resolved, he's done much better, no questions there. It doesn't change the fact that he's got a congenitally more stenotic, cervical spine and more narrow cervical spine. So, the propensity or the possibility of further neck injuries popping up is definitely there, because you can't escape your genes. You get what you get.
That's what concerns me moving forward with Leighton, is that this can continue to pop up. It's always something. He finally had a healthy year in 2021, but once again 2022 it popped right up. So we'll keep an eye out on that, and if they do decide to bring him back, I'm sure they'll I guess they'll be cleared with his neck injury, and we'll probably talk about it some more. And free agency is about to begin here in the next week or so. So if the Cowboys sign some guys, I'll definitely be reaching out to you, because I'm sure they'll sign a guy with some type of injury history. They always do. That's what they do.
That's it. Exciting times, and get some new blood, and but again, as you said, people typically come with a little bit of baggage. So happy to be here to talk you all through it.
Hey, thanks, Doc. And if they have a little bit of baggage of their own, let them know where they can come to get some information and help.
Yeah, for sure. We're at the Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Institute. We've got 3 office locations, one in Fort Worth, Mansfield, and Decatur, and would love to help anybody. Our main office number is 817-529-1900, or you can hit us up at osmifw.com. So I'd love to talk to you all.
There you have it, Cowboys Nation. Another episode of Doc Talk with Dr. Boothby. Appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much, Doc.
Hey, take care, guys. Have a good day.